Over the weekend, I saw the new Lego movie. It's the Lego Movie Part Two, the second part. It's not Part Two. It's the Lego Movie Two, the second part. That's what it's called. And I really, really, really liked it. As someone who loves one Legos and two the Lego Movie, because I remember when that came out in 2014. I was my senior year of high school, and I remember in broadcasting we had a board that we did. Well, I didn't do it. It was other people who were in the class, but they put up the movies that were going to be coming out, and I remember walking by and it was the Lego Movie. I'm like, what the hell is this garbage? This commercialized garbage that no one's gonna see. How dare they tread my precious Legos through the mud and step on them with cleats? And then I went to see it. Because, of course, there must have been nothing good on at that time. Except the Lego Movie. To my surprise, the Lego Movie was great, 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 great. It had a lot of heart. It had a great cast. It had a great world. It was such a great world to be in. And there was a lot of anticipation for this sequel. It did what a lot of good sequels did. It waited. It waited 5 years. I remember one of the most recent sequels I saw was, well, not recently, but it was The Last Jedi, and that came out in 2017, and we saw The Force Awakens in 2015. We need time to, like, boil and, like, settle. Like, oh, remember how great that movie was? So that's what the Lego Movie 2 did. And we're going to do the spoiler-free review of the movie, because even though I want to talk about spoilers, I know there's some people out there who, of course, don't want to hear the spoilers. So I got my notes for you. Again, I love the Lego Movie because the first one, I love the Lego Movie because it was very, very funny. And it continues to be very, very funny. There's a lot of great meta humor. Chris Pratt's in the movie, and they make a lot of jabs at Chris Pratt, which is really, really funny. They have a whole... Oh, no, I can't talk about that. That's a spoiler. But the humor does remain very, very, very strong. I'm trying to remember. There's one funny joke. It's not a spoiler. There's a funny joke where Emmett and someone else, they kind of go to another place that is different from where they usually are. And they meet Wonder Woman, but Wonder Woman is the regular Lego figure Wonder Woman, and there's also like two versions of Wonder Woman that are Wonder Woman, but they're all different types of Legos, and that's what a good sequel does. It kind of already builds on the world that we already have. Because Lego is such a big property, they have so much that they can use, and they use it. There's kind of a... Well, I'll say it. Yeah, I'll say it because it was at the end of the first movie. If you didn't see the first movie, pause this, go watch it, and then come back. No, pause this, go watch the first movie, then go watch the second movie, then come back and pause it, and then we can kiki about it. I lost my train of thought. But the first movie ends with the kid Legos attacking the city, and the Lego Movie just gets to use all of their properties. But there's a really funny Marvel joke about properties, but like Duplo, and I don't know what there's like they're Lego sets for girls, but I don't know what they're called, where they're like kind of elongated and they're more detail oriented, but those are in there. It's wow. I'm sorry. I just really love this movie. What else did I write? Oh, the story. The first movie had such a great story. I think it's like on par with the message of Toy Story 4. For those who don't know how I received Toy Story 4, come find me and I'll tell you about it. But the first movie, the lesson I got from the first Lego Movie was that you're never too old to enjoy being a kid. Because the whole thing is all about being an adult, and things have to be a certain way. And because that's the whole theme of the first movie, and the Kraggle's the MacGuffin of the first movie. And it's a great moral to just kind of let loose, relax, remember who you were, remember your roots, and enjoy and rediscover that joy that you had when you were a kid. I think it's a great moral, especially for adults to have now. Old, like baby boomers, do not think that at all. But for the adults growing up, the millennials and the Gen Zers, I think it's a great thing to have. And we kind of do have that sweet story continued onto the second movie. There's a whole kind of it's a great struggle between adolescence versus childhood, and we see that in the lens of not just the Lego characters, but we bring back the human characters, and there's a great struggle between I'm getting older and that's not how I used to be, I want to be this now, and there's that internal struggle that is kind of brought from the first movie of remember who you are. And yeah, it really is not, I wouldn't say well, yeah, there is a struggle. There is a kind of struggle to kind of reclaim your identity when you get older. Like when I was growing up, I did not think that I'd be like doing this. Like I was really quiet. I was quiet and thin. That's how I was. But what was I gonna say? It's yeah. There's a great conflict of growing up that is conveyed through the Legos. Like if you see it, you'll get it because they'll tell you. And something else that I really like is we get more expansion on the other characters, not the Lego characters. We look more at the human characters. To its core, the Lego movie is a family movie. It's a movie for families in more ways than one. I don't know if I should talk about this because it kind of is a spoiler. No, we'll word it carefully. There's a conflict between family, and it's a very common conflict. And the resolution is just, I love the resolution. It's such a happy ending because I think everyone can take something from that. It looks at your typical nuclear family, like you have the parents and the kids, and kind of everyone has a relationship with one another. And there's not too much time spent on it because that's not what we're here for. We're here for talking Legos, but enough is spent on it where we kind of have this allegory for ourselves, so we can definitely see ourselves in that struggle of the family. What else is there? I already talked about that, and I've yet to talk about that. Everything is Awesome, which was the Oscar-nominated song from the first Lego movie, I think has a new competitor now. There's a new song in the movie that is just perfect. When you have to be bad on purpose, but it ends up being really good? If that's what you like, you're going to love kind of like the music of the movie. Because it's good. It's really good. Like, they make fun of it too. They're like, oh, it's all generic pop. It's all nonsense. And then they have to make it for the movie, but it's so good. There's one song in there. It's called The Catchy Song, and that's all I'm going to say. It's like, oh man, I'm gushing about this movie. Have I said everything that I needed to say about it? Oh yeah. This is what's probably the most important thing about movies like the Lego Movie. When you have people who care, like who really, really care about their properties or their tasks or the jobs that they have to do, and they're in the media industry, they're gonna give you great work. Like, I can tell that the writers, the designers, the animators, everybody who worked on this film, maybe even the voice talent, They believe in this project and they love this project. Like, they're putting themselves in this, and you have to stress the importance of believing in your works. Why do you think properties like Marvel do so well? Because Kevin Feige loves and believes every single character, every single story. Like, he's up there with Stan Lee on the importance of the success of Marvel because he cares. He actually cares. I'm trying to think of anyone else that, like, I'm sure there's more, but if you have people who care about the works that they're going to do, they're going to turn out good product. Why do you think all the recent cash grabs weren't as successful as the Lego Movie? Who gives a crap about emojis? Nobody. Who gives a crap about Angry Bird? Nobody. I'm sure there are more recent cash grabs than those, but look in your heart when you make these projects, because when you believe, you're going to put your all into it. And even though you think your all's not enough, your all is perfect for people like us. So overall, I give the Lego Movie 2, the second part, a go see. Go see this movie right now because it is 2 tons of fun, and if I could, I'd see it again. Hey guys, thanks for listening. Feel free to subscribe to Agcaoili Productions, the only home to the Big Things podcast.